So we're going to be spending this week reviewing the difference between our volumes and surface area on our three-dimensional shapes, and we'll look at each of the figures separately, and then we'll spend a few days reviewing kind of some of the more of the difficult concepts. We'll have you decide which one are they asking for, surface area or volume, and then on Thursday we'll have your chapter unit test, whatever you want to call it, on this skill. Alright, so a lot of good work that's being done. I really appreciate all of you guys that show your work for every problem. It really helps me be able to assess you because I see exactly where you're making some of your mistakes. Alright, so quick review. We need to know the difference between volume and surface area. Again, volume is space inside a three-dimensional shape. Alright, so that's going to be cubic units, depending on what that is, and you need 3 dimensions. You need 3 of them, all right, when you are making your calculations. So you got to be careful because some of you guys are only taking 2, and it's supposed to be 3, right? So these are the different formulas, right? For a regular prism, it's the area of the base, so don't be confused. You got to find what the base would be, and that's going to be the length times width of the base itself, then times its height. So that's where you're getting the 3. So for an area of a triangle base, that's how you would find it, and then you times it by the height of the shape, which is 10.5, and then lastly the more challenging trapezoidal prism is you have to find the area of the base using the trapezoid formula, which we'll look at specifically here in just a minute. And then that's the difference between surface area, and again, surface area, the best connection is going to be paint or wrapping paper or something to that effect. You saw that example in the problem of putting tiles around a shape, which is also a real-world example. But in the case of this prism here, you have 6 different faces, and you could find the length and width of every single side, and then find the area, and then do it 6 times and add it together. Some of you guys are doing that, which is fine, but GoMath does give us this helpful formula here that once you know the perimeter of the shape, you can, or the perimeter of a face, you can then use that as the base and then calculate accordingly. So let's look at some of these examples here. What I've done is I've created just for every single one of the problems today. So you're going to be calculating all 4 of these, and I think this will help some of you guys, and just be careful to not mix up the formulas. So every problem today you're going to be finding the perimeter of the base, you're going to be finding the area of the base, and then you then have all your pieces here to calculate your surface area and volume. Alright, so let's take a look at our trapezoid. Alright, so I'm just going to rewrite it down below here. Alright, for some of you guys it might be helpful at times because you're not using the right dimensions, and it's just good to kind of recopy things. Alright, so here we go. Here's our 5. What that is that's the height of the trapezoid, so you're not going to use that for perimeter. It's distance around, right? So we know this is 8. I go back to my shape. I know that's a 4, right? So that goes here. Opposite sides there of the trapezoid are equal. And then what is my top number? There's nothing there, right? But I know that my top face is a rectangle, so opposite sides of a rectangle are equal, so that would be a 6. So now I have enough information to go distance around, right, to find my perimeter. So I'm going to start here with the friendly numbers. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 4 is 22, so that is the perimeter of my base. And now the area of the base, what I need to do is use the trapezoid formula for that. Alright, so that's going to be finding the area of the base. Alright, so that's base 1 plus base 2, and that is 14. And then I take 1/2 of that, which is dividing it, or timesing it by 0.5, or dividing it by 2, so that's 7. And then timesing it by the height of the trapezoid, which is 5, so that is 35. So now that I have that information, I'm able to go back now and I'm able to plug it into the different formulas and then calculate my surface area and volume. Alright, so the surface area again is the perimeter of the base. Alright, so that's 22. What is the height of my shape now? Alright, so now I'm figuring surface area, so it's that 22 and it's going this way, 3 meters high, right? So that's going to be times 3, so that's 66 is the first part of the equation, and now I'm going to find the area of my base times 2, and I did that before, right? So that's 35 times 2, that's 70. I add the 2 together, and I have 136 meters squared. All right, to find the volume now, all right, so I need to use the area of my base, right, which I found before, which was 35. And now I'm going to times it by the height of my shape. All right, so going back here, I use the other dimension now in my problem. That's 3. All right, so 35 times 3. Carry the 1. I have 105, and this is 3 dimensions, right? So I need to put the cubic units there. All right, so other type of problem that gives some of us some challenges, and that's finding the triangle formulas. All right, so perimeter of the base, I'm just going to rewrite my base here down below. All right, so I have that right triangle in the middle there. Not perfectly drawn to scale, but for purposes of here, we'll be able to use it. All right, so that 7 is there. It does not help me with the perimeter. That is the height of my shape, though. And so I need to find what these two sides are, and those are equal there. So that's 9 and 9. So I have enough information now for the perimeter of my base. I go around. 8 plus 9 is 17, plus 9 is 26. Just rewrite it for those of you guys that don't see it. That is going to be the perimeter. Now I need to find the area of my base, and so the area of my base is the base of my triangle times the height of my triangle, which is 7 times 1/2. All right, so a lot of you guys aren't taking the 1/2 at times. Very, very helpful. All right, to do that, it's needed. So you divide by 2, that would be 28. All right, so the 28 is the area of my base. I now have all the information for the rest of my problem. I just plug it in correctly. All right, so here we go. What is the perimeter again? For my formula, my perimeter is 26. What's the height of my shape? It's over there, and that is 10.5. So I need to multiply that accordingly. So 26 times 10.5. I have a decimal point, so I need to carry it. All right, so that would be 273. So that's the first part there. I got 273. Now I need to add that to 2 times the area of the base, which is 28. So 28 times 2 is 56. Now I add that together. 273 plus 56, 9 to 1, 329 would be the surface area. Area is square units, centimeters squared. And now for the volume, I'm going to just erase here to give myself some more space. I know so I need to use the triangular formula, right? The area of the base, I already calculated that before, which was 28. And so 28 times now the height of my shape, which is, again, 10.5. And so I'm going to have to reuse my space here. And you can also use a calculator for this last part. You don't have to show your work, but I don't have a calculator on me, so I'm just going to show my work accordingly. 0, carry the 4, 8, 0, carry the 1, 1, 2, 4, 9, 1, 2, 294. All right, so that's our review. Any questions, let me know. We're going to be practicing this for the next 2 days, and then we'll be taking our test on Thursday.